Hi guys, I am here to do another deck review. This one today is going to be the Starchild Tarot. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, I'm really excited about this deck. It's crazy because just like the Tarot of the She, this one stalked me. Yeah, I didn't really have much intention on getting it. And then it just kept coming up and kept coming up. People kept talking about it and just kept coming into my path. And then somehow Akashic came up in one of my channelings I was doing, like the Akashic records. And then someone else made the mention of Starchild again, tarot. But the Akashic edition, I was like, the Akashic edition. And so I thought, you know what, that was like my final thing and I needed to get this deck basically. So I have it now. Here it is. And yeah, I just absolutely love it. This box is amazing, by the way. It feels a lot like the cardstock. It's just like so smooth. Actually, I wonder if the, you know, I think the Wild Unknown's like the same. Yeah, it's very similar to the Wild Unknown's. Wild Unknown box is very smooth too. Yeah. I love that velvety matte finish. It's just wonderful. So that's the front. And this is created by Danielle Noel. Yeah. That's the back. So it kind of shows some different cards there. Now this tarot deck is done all in like these kind of pinkies. And then pinkies and blues and greens and white. So inside here, so it's evening time, so my lighting isn't the greatest, but this actually says we are all stardust inside. There you go. So it's a nice hard box. And then here's the deck inside. That's the backing. All its nice smoothness. So it's a very feminine energy deck. Here's the guidebook. And it's called A Light Worker's Guide underneath here. And I haven't really had much chance to look at it yet, but it looks like there's a fair amount of writing in here. There's about, let's see, I'll find out how many pages we got here. 172 technically. So 172 pages, contents, we've got introduction, higher self, healing with the tarot, cleansing of cards, shuffling, reversal cards, about starseeds, tarot spreads, 3-card spreads, Celtic Cross starseed spread. Man, there's even a Akashic spread and Metatron spread. Ooh, I'm excited. I haven't even looked at this. So this is kind of like reveal unboxing / review. And then it goes into all the minors and majors. Core cards, spiritual keys. And what's really cool too, what she has, this is what I did notice, is she's got these spiritual keys. So it talks about the chakras, gemstones, astrology, symbols, and guides. Yeah. See these little, it's like a little breakdown. So first is like a description about the card, additional meanings, reversed meaning, and then she goes into these spiritual keys. So that's really cool. So there's a fair amount. Now that's in the majors. I think the... Okay, so the minors are a little bit... shorter. So that was the majors, and that was about 2 pages. And the minors have more short form, 1 page. And it's like the message, additional meanings, and reversed, with a teeny tiny little image of the thing here. So you can't see it too much, but it's not a big deal. Anyways, let's go to the goods. So the goods are the cards. Okay. Sorry, I'm kind of in a weird, goofy mode. It's very strange. And I'm drinking Bailey's in my tea. I'm not drunk. I just really like the flavor of Bailey's, and so I like it in warmness, and so I add a little tiny drop to my tea. And it's really good. Warms the soul. Alright, so here we go. 78 cards. Actually, no, it would be 79 cards because there's an additional card they added to this. It's the Akashic card. Sorry, I had to make sure this was recording. I'm like, oh, that would really suck if this wasn't recording. Yeah, so there's an Akashic card. That was the backs. There's this really awesome type of gilding on the sides. I don't know what else you would call it, but it's a side color, and they call it like antique gold, I think. So it's really kind of cool. So I don't know if that helps to see it this way. But it looks really nice, like in person. Now, these ones are the larger size. She is making a tarot size, so if you find this too large and in charge for your hands, it is tricky to do like the, is it rifle shuffle when you do it like that and do the bridge? I'm not sure if that's the rifle, but I don't know their names, but that one, you can do it. Like for me, I can just barely do it, but it's a bit of a stretch for the hands. So for me, I wouldn't want to use these cards like all day long if I'm doing like a big gig. Probably best just to overhand, like the overhand shuffle is the best for me with these cards. So I'm just going to get to it and show you some of these gorgeous images. Hopefully the lighting is okay. So crystals, we have 9 of crystals. This is like your earth suit is the crystals. And we do have wands. So that's the 8 of wands. Awakening, I believe, is being changed to, like, it was the judgment card is awakening. Sorry. Okay, and we do have a cups. Now, I have a little story with this one. Actually, I got this deck basically yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. And with this particular card, I came to it in a reading, and it really reads well and beautifully, I have to say, this deck. And I kind of got lost in this landscape. I don't know if you can see it there. I got lost in this landscape, and it really felt like home. Like, it just felt like I've been there, I recognize it, and it wasn't just about the land, it was about this connection with the stars. Do you see how it like kind of goes from here and up and around? And it really, really felt like I've been here, I know this. And then I saw here with this leopard, and it was just looking at me like, you know this as well, like kind of confirming that. And it was just so magical, this card. Things just clicked, and it was almost like this feeling of home instantly. I can't really explain it other than that, but it just whooshed over me, and I was instantly just like bawling, basically. It was crazy because, like, in this land here, it really felt like energy, feeling energy, and those synchronicities and just those extrasensory abilities was common. That just was the way of life and the way of being. Like, your beingness was that was it. And as opposed to here, we're so against it, you know, like there's so many people that just see it as woo-woo and they write it off, and it's just it's so much contrast here versus in this world. And I felt like I knew this, and this was so close to home. And it wasn't even so much this lady, it was just the landscape, it was the cat being here as well. So that was amazing. And even like the colors and the tones of the land there and the sky, like with those pinkies, like that really does feel like a real planet, a real place. So obviously I'm not going to have enough time to show you, unfortunately, all the cards, but I can certainly try and show you a few. This is a Knight of Swords, and this is just amazing. I love how she's just about to step into like this portal, this dimension, slightly timid, you know. It's just it's amazing. It could almost double as the Fool card, but she's a little bit more apprehensive rather than the Fool is just all kind of giving and like going. Even the Fool, actually, in this deck, it's changed its Starseed, I believe. And this is awesome too, all those moon phases there with the moon card. Yeah. And swords are swords, so not everything is changed. Now, one thing I was worried about with this particular deck is I was worried that, you know, all the cards have a very similar palette of color. And I was worried that it might not work the greatest for reading because it's not going to really stand out. That was my initial thoughts, and that was my apprehension, you know, about getting the deck. I was a little bit worried about that, thinking I'm not going to be able to read with this very well because all the colors are so similar, and I really like that change of color palette depending on the card. Totally on the contrary, however, this card, this deck, it reads just fine. I actually have like a little bit easier time with this deck as opposed to the name just totally left me, the Tarot of the She, which has so much color and multicolor that it's almost, I get overwhelmed by it a little bit, where this one, it almost reads like these little subtleties within the deck. It's those subtleties you pick up on, and those are what you see and you read right away. Like here, this almost looks like little fairy wings. You know, so there's like subtleties to the cards that your eyes just pick it up quickly. So there's no trouble in terms of color. You know, you can definitely read with this deck. It's wonderful and awesome and juicy, and the book so far with what I've read is really great, well written. So perspective, this would be like your Hanged Man. I love the Chariot, and I have like a little display I'll show you in a minute. I've been keeping it kind of up there, so I just wanted to kind of show you my little crystal display and whatnot. But I have a little unicorn up there too, and it just feels like right for this deck and display. Here's the Starseed card. Awesome. So yes, so if you're apprehensive about getting this and you're not sure, Serenity, this is like, I think, the Hermit. High Priestess is wonderful. Yeah, so if you're unsure, totally give it a try. And if not, I'm sure you'll be able to trade it or sell it with someone, because it's such a gorgeous deck that why not, right? And I believe it's self-published, so it's always nice to support, you know, people who are doing it on their own as opposed to mass marketing. The cardstock is crazy thick. Like that's thick. Like, I think it's thicker than my Tarot of the She. I think it's about the same size as the Tarot of the She. Yeah. The Tarot of the She is a little flimsier than this one. This is even thicker than the Tarot of the She. And the size... Okay, so they're essentially the same size as each other. So if you have this one, then you kind of have an idea, but just know that the actual cardstock is a little bit thicker. Anyways, I'm running out of time, so that is the Starseed Tarot. What a lovely deck. Totally recommend it, and it looks like it's really an expanding the consciousness type of deck, so highly recommend. Okay, take care everyone. Bye-bye. So here's my little space where I'm keeping my Starchild Tarot. It sits right next to the Dreams of Gaia, above one of my paintings. You guys usually see this in my videos, this painting. I did. Yeah. But I really love this little setup. These are all like clear quartz crystals. And then a shell that I got in BC when my husband and we were on our honeymoon. And I've got like a little a unicorn kind of pendant there, and this cool pyramid crystal that I picked up. I'm quite happy with it, actually. It's a really kind of cool. We got these little cool clear quartz points to it. I really like that. I've never really seen anything quite like this before, so I wanted to pick it up. It was kind of expensive, but it was worth it. It was just so unique and different. I've never really seen anything like that. So, and I don't have any pyramid shaped crystals, and I've always wanted one. So that would be perfect. So this is like my little setup and display I wanted to kind of show and share. And I have like the rest of some of my tarot decks down here and different things. And
yeah, so I'm quite happy with that. I just wanted to show and share.